Hello, Carmen here, back to answer another question. And I think this week's question is going to really be a great one and probably an eye-opener for a lot of parents. So the question is, what should I do about my child's orthodontist wanting to extract teeth? Okay. Run out of the building like it's on fire. That's what I want you to do, because while this used to be the thing that they did, you could find so many orthodontists around the United States, and I call them airway orthodontists for a reason. You could have a chat with them and find out that they're highly mortified about all of the premolars that they extracted. And let me back up to this question. So what should I do about my child's orthodontist wanting to extract teeth? We're talking extracting permanent teeth. So sometimes parents get a little bit confused when they say, my kiddo was having teeth extracted. But we're talking, and generally that's premolar. So dentists or orthodontists will normally do that. If there's crowding, they'll just say, hey, let's pull these teeth, okay? When you pull teeth out of a small mouth, you create a smaller mouth, and there's less space. There's less space for the airway to develop. There's less space for the tongue. And quite often when that happens, the bones, if there's not enough bone space, the teeth aren't going to come in straight anyhow. So that used to be what they did, is they just extracted teeth out of a small mouth. Now, orthodontists know better. When you know better, you do better. And so that is why I'm answering this question here today, is because I always find myself in the unfortunate situation of trying to explain to a parent about airway ortho, don't let somebody pull teeth out of their kid's face, that kind of stuff. And the parents just look at me like this deer in the headlights look, because they feel like I'm speaking to them in, fluent drunkenese. So let's talk about that. So if you are the parent of a child whose orthodontist wants to pull teeth, that's not your person, okay? That is not the orthodontist you want to be working with. You guys can go to my website. There's tons of information, and I'm going to just grab this and flip it around here, hopefully, maybe, hopefully without disconnecting. So if you look, here I'm on my laptop and I'm on my website. If you scroll down past all of the resources, you'll come to a spot down here that shows all of my blogs, okay? Hopefully this shows. So right here you can see my airway and orthodontics blog, okay? So if you go there, you're going to end up on my airway and orthodontics articles page. If you're a parent who is in this situation, I encourage you to check out a couple things. 6 things every parent should understand about craniofacial development, and then this article about airway orthodontics, become an advocate for your child. The reason that I encourage you to do that, sorry, trying to put this back here in the holder. The reason that I encourage you to do that is so that you understand first about airway ortho, and then that way it's not so foreign to you when we're talking about we don't pull teeth out of a mouth, okay? Because it ultimately just makes it have less space. So parents are always asking me, okay, where do I learn about some of this stuff? So this is a book that I love, 6 Foot Tiger, 3 Foot Cage. This is really what happens. It's a great explanation of what happens when you pull teeth out of a mouth where there's not enough space. Another great resource, this book, and then this book also. So I think there's a little bit of a glare on it. Hopefully you can see that. But finding information, and this is what's hard for parents because you're busy and you don't want to take the time, so you trust who you're working with. And sometimes you have to be open to getting more than one opinion. But I can tell you this, if it was my kid or if it was my granddaughter and I was going to an orthodontist visit with her and they wanted to pull teeth out, I would run out of that building like it's on fire. And I would not for 1 second consider working with that person because I know the consequences. Ultimately, our heads are supposed to develop with enough room for all of our teeth. And if you look into some of the work of Dr. Weston Price, you will see that we are supposed to have that kind of space, okay? For all of those teeth, even wisdom teeth. So it's not something that we should just pull wisdom teeth out, although most of us do not have space for them. So going back to the question about a child's orthodontist wanting to extract teeth. When that question comes up a lot for me with parents, I say two things. It's not an airway orthodontist, and this person is not forward thinking, okay? I get so many children who are referred to me by orthodontists, and they want me to fix the tongue thrust, which is not the problem, you guys. It's a symptom of a bigger problem, which is the oral rest posture. Mouth breathing, low tongue, open mouth resting posture, all of that stuff has an impact. But I truthfully never want my clients to work with a conventional orthodontist. A conventional orthodontist, as you'll learn if you read some of these blogs that I have written, they worry about cosmetically straightening the teeth. An airway focused orthodontist, they worry about straightening the teeth last because they're not even going to think about straightening teeth because they want to look at your kiddo as a whole. First, they want to make sure that the airway is developing properly. An unprecedented amount of children have sleep disordered breathing. I have had, I can't even tell you how many children I have had come into therapy with me that have sleep apnea, and I'm the one who catches it. Their primary physician didn't catch it. Their dentist didn't catch it. It's quite heartbreaking, actually. So, educate yourself. Do not be afraid to ask questions. Do not be afraid to get more than one opinion. The world of ortho is really, really difficult. The one article that I wrote on the airway orthodontics, how to be an advocate for your child, is very helpful in explaining what airway ortho is, how to find somebody. You're not going to find this type of orthodontist on every corner, okay? Your general dentist, the office that you guys go to, probably has a relationship with somebody that they've been referring to for years. They probably did the ortho for your dentist's children. That doesn't mean that they're your person. Just because that's where your dentist sends you doesn't mean that's where you want to go. I will tell you, orthotropics or airway ortho, face forward ortho, anything that concentrates on the growth of the face forward is going to be more expensive than conventional ortho. My youngest daughter, many of you guys know this, she had conventional ortho. She's got beautiful teeth. She had retractive headgear. Her joints on both sides are ruined, and she has upper airway resistance syndrome and sleep apnea, but she's got beautiful straight teeth. The problem is she did not get the correct facial development that she should have, and I really regret that I didn't know this stuff back then. A lot of these airway focused orthodontists are starting to go back into the mouths of clients from the past and open those spaces back up where they pulled teeth, and they're correcting what they did, and then they're putting implants in there. So if we can save your child from having to go through that, that's what I encourage. But in the meantime, take time to read some of these books. They're really, really helpful. I think probably this one was my favorite. I love all of them, but I love this one just because so many of my clients have had teeth pulled, and now they've got jaw issues, they've got airway problems, they've got sleep apnea. And if you just think about it with common sense, if you pull teeth out of a smaller mouth, if you pull teeth out of a small mouth, you create a smaller mouth. So I hope that's helpful. I'll be back next week and be answering another hot question. So thanks for showing up. I'll see you then.